stream. All right, the stream is starting and it has officially gone live, and we have 0 people watching.
Nice.
All right, waiting for people. If you guys want the link for this, it is going to be in the chat. I'm going to move it to the chat now while we wait for people to get in here. If you want to be able to follow it.
All right, I'm in.
All right, and the chat is starting to pop. What is up, guys? This is going to be the second installment of our, I guess, Discord live streams, chill chats. The reason that I wanted to do this is because I don't stream enough, guys, and I really miss the opportunity. I haven't been doing this as much lately as I should be, to just interact with everyone. So this stream is not going to be about me. This stream is going to be about talking to you guys, hearing other people's opinions, community perspectives, interesting ideas from individuals who don't get their voices out there very much. It looks like we're at 170 people already. Schlebs, you can go ahead and add people to the chat now.
You got it.
But yeah, so right now we are in the midst of the Reverie. The Reverie is basically the best arc of One Piece, in my opinion, so far. Obviously, it's only been 3 chapters. I think the editor said that it's not technically an arc, but I consider an arc. And it, like, chapter by chapter, it is consistently blowing my mind. A lot of people have been asking me, like, Joyboy, where are the videos? You know, where are the theories? And I really just want to take my time right now, because there is so much new information that we're getting right now. It is the most insane time to be a fan of One Piece, for sure. But I guess we're going to start off this stream, in general, asking just, I guess, this question. I've shared my thoughts on this. What does everybody think of the Reverie? Like, really?
Oh, it's just crazy, man. Crazy.
So far, it has to probably be one of the more hype mini arcs, or at least arcs that I've read while it's been going on. I mean, even I quite enjoyed Zoe, and I'd say that this is better than Zoe. So post time skip, it's probably up there as one of my favorites already, just because the reveals are so insane.
Since you brought up Zoe as a comparison, this is just the best comparison. Zoe was great for the pornoglyphs and for the road pornoglyphs, but I think the current revelations and what they're gonna bring to the future are just much bigger implications, much bigger, man.
Also, the fact that it's like history class, but cool. It's like the greatest thing ever. Like,
the world building is just been completely
that you made theories about, and that you
Wait, but I thought my mic was
crafted and talk to your friends that are into One Piece, and you guys just chop it up and talk about what could be a thing, and then you get your answers in the Reverie. It's like we get so much prelude answers to the big pictures. It's amazing. I love it.
Also, before I forget, right now we're streaming via Discord. If you want a link to Discord, it's in the description. You don't have to feel the need to join. But if you do, then you can potentially join streams like this in the future. Again, as I said the last time that we did this, we're looking to do these kinds of streams once in a while, just once every 2 weeks to a month is sort of the goal. But anyway, not to disrupt the conversation though.
Also, the fact that this chapter, like this arc so far has so many cliffhangers all together, like 906, 907, 908. It's insane, and that's what keeps hyping you towards the next chapter every single time.
The world building content is just crazy.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if you could call those as cliffhangers, because technically this is constantly building up. I mean,
No, but honestly, this is like the arc. I feel like, as every One Piece fan, like, this is what we've been waiting for. Just info bomb after info bomb after info bomb, and that's exactly what we're getting. It's just like knowledge is being dropped on us, and like I think Joyboy is like, I don't know if we can handle any more of this, because I feel like Joyboy is gonna end up like passing out one of these chapters.
I was close at the last chapter, dude. Like it's steadily building. Like my brain's trying to take in all the new information, and it is being overwhelmed.
I mean, I called it like after that, like that chapter with the Straw Hat ending.
I'm just saying, next time the actual like YouTuber Reverie happens, if there's not at least a tiny bit of discussion about this arc, I'm gonna be upset.
No, there's no way.
There has to.
There's no way.
I mean, it's literally called
Too much.
It's gonna be one of the best arcs in One Piece. If the next time like the big event happens and there's no discussion of it, I'm actually gonna be shocked.
All right, all right. So let me ask a question again, a different question to you guys. I think this is gonna be really open ended.
Can I answer? I didn't get a chance to answer your first question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The only thing I wanted to say to add
Someone's acting really hard.
What everybody was saying was, I feel like it's necessary for the. Somebody gotta.
Ibs, please put on.
I muted him. Go ahead. Go ahead. I muted him.
So I feel like it's necessary as far as I'm sorry, I got a train. I live near a train. I feel like it's necessary for it to be like cliffhangers because. I feel like at the end of the arc, we're gonna get more insight onto something, and then with Wano, after Wano, post Wano is gonna be crazy. So I feel like that's when we're gonna get a lot of answers about and you know about
yeah. That's actually exactly what I was about to bring up too. What do you guys think? So we've gotten. Let's count down the crazy things that we got. Besides the actual Reverie itself, the huge hints to future storylines. We have. The National Treasure, which is implied to be the hat, or the hat is in some way related to the National Treasure, or just the hat existence in the first place, even if it's not the National Treasure, it's been hinted in some way as to being important, related to the Void Century. You have the overlord of the world government that rules in secret in the shadows. You have the Revolutionary Army's actions itself, and the possible future implications of that, as well as the storyline with Kuma. Do you guys think that we are that's going to be completed here soon, or is this something that's like for any of those things, or do you think that this is something that we're going to be sitting on for a long time while we're in Wano?
I think it depends. I think it depends. I think if Bonnie's in
personally,
Wano,
I think
wait, don't interrupt each other.
One at a time.
Let him make his point.
Let him go ahead.
You know,
if it depends on if Bonney shows up in Wano, because if Bonney shows up in Wano, I think we get backstory onto what happened and how she escaped, or you know, and whether or not Kuma escaped. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like that would end up prolonging it. You know what I mean? Like, so to speak. I feel like we don't get it now, but we get it mid Wano, if she shows up. You know what I mean?
I feel like building up too much, like the cliffhangers. If you don't explain,
I mean, but you have to though. I mean, like,
I love cliffhangers, but if you don't explain it within the arc, it will hurt the arc itself. You know.
I disagree really strongly with that.
I personally think that the Kuma stuff is like just really a setup. I don't think we're gonna get the payoff for Kuma this arc at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It because with the revolutionaries being all through that, I mean, you know, heavily into that situation, you know, trying to save Kuma. I feel like that's why it's gonna be a little, you know, longer.
So saving Kuma is a declaration of war, or are they actually trying to save Kuma and declare war?
I mean, it kind of.
I think each one of these info bombs, like, will, like, the answer to each one, like, we'll get answers, like, gradually, like, in future arcs, but, like, not all at once. So I think we'll probably get one answer during Wano, and then, like, another answer the arc after that, and then the arc after that, and so
I
on.
definitely for one thing, I definitely disagree with what you said, because 2 chapters ago we saw this shady figure which we thought we would never see until like whatever 200, 100 chapters from now, and now we have it 2 chapters later again. We see an eye, we get a name, it's called Imu-sama. I'm not sure on how much we're gonna get revealed, because they told us we probably want to reread this stuff, so it's kind of hard. One Piece is all about those informations that are not given out, but we're gonna come to a point in which he has to start just answering and answering and answering instead of posing new questions.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna. I feel like he's gonna answer some questions, but the questions that he answers are gonna leave us with more questions.
Okay, yeah, but that has to stop at some point.
I mean,
That-
but I mean, it depends on how he does it. Depending on the way that Oda handles it. No, I mean, like, check me out though. Depending on the way he handles it, because I mean, if it's ending up like being a catalyst for Blackbeard going to get Shanks.
Yo, shout out to the Black.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, pause for a second. Shout out to the Black Master Dante. I really appreciate you, dude. Thank you. Anyway, continue.
Shit, what was I saying?
My bad.
You were talking about Blackbeard going after Shanks.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it leads up to something like that, you know what I'm saying, then I'm okay with it.
Well,
but if it's
most of-
like, I agree with what you were saying, like, you know, depending on what we get and like how it's portrayed, then I can see.
I
feel
really
like we're getting a lot of
Blackbeard
answers.
can't
A lot of
fight.
these answers are being answered with questions, and
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
what this arc is because it's a huge setup. A lot of the stuff is being set up for Wano mostly, but some of these endgame stuff in the Reverie is going to be set up for the very, very end of One Piece. This is a huge setup for like the finale. Of
I
One
agree.
Piece, everything that's
I tend to agree.
I think I totally agree. Like I think all this massive info dump is like a foreshadowing to like way towards the end of the story.
Yeah,
Honestly,
like some
especially with
questions.
My
I think
personal
even
theory
the
is- Oops,
yeah.
sorry.
Someone's speaking.
That-
Cheese.
Sorry, we've had how many arcs since the Straw Hats split up? We've
Like,
had
a lot.
at the end of Zoe, we had the entirety of Whole Cake, and now we're gonna have the entirety of Reverie. It's
And
been
then they go together in Wano again.
yeah, it's been quite a while since we've seen what that half of the crew is up to. I would not be surprised at all if partway through the Reverie arc, or at least somewhere close to the ending, we cut back in time to see what all has happened to the rest of the Ninja Pirate Samurai Mink Alliance.
Well, it's only been a couple of
I doubt that will
I
happen
mean,
because
aligns-
it's only
that
like
aligns
7.
with actually
It's
that
only
aligns
7
with what
plus.
I think the editor said in the upcoming. You know what? Just say what you want to say. I don't want to cut you off.
I feel
Well,
like
it's-
you know, some things in Reverie are gonna be answered like straight away, and you know, like there's gonna be like things that are gonna be popping up like every chapter, like things like when Shanks was talking to the Gorosei about a certain pirate. That certain pirate could be anyone, and I feel like that's not gonna be answered anytime soon.
It could be the lurking legend.
Yeah, like
I mean,
Some-
no,
see why
but
that would
I'm one of the people that believe that Luffy's gonna end up fighting the lurking legend so he can actually achieve the status of Yonko. I mean, because like we know that like after during the time skip, Blackbeard took over, you know, Whitebeard's country, I mean territory, and then he ended up clashing with Marco, and that's when he was officially emperor. So I feel like now Luffy got the title, but he doesn't have the overall strength per se. I mean, I'm not saying that Luffy's not Yonko level to an extent.
He's not.
Like, or not. I'm not.
I don't think he's close to the level.
I think
I mean,
everyone
like,
can agree with
he's
that,
not even
but
close.
this arc in itself can make it that happen because look at all the people that are participating in the Reverie with like Alabasta, Dressrosa, Drum Island, all these people in
Let's
this
pause
arc,
for a
there's
second.
possibilities there where they could all. Sorry, what?
Okay.
Yeah, let's pause for a second. Like this next arc is gonna be Wano, right? The Wano arc in which it's hinted at we're going to have both Big Mom and Kaido. If Luffy doesn't at least get close to Yonko level by the end of this arc, I would be incredibly surprised. That's not to say that he has to defeat Kaido, but I think that there's going to be some major power-ups to be had here, for sure. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I think-
everybody's gonna get a major power up. Like that's foreshadowing with Sanji in the raid suit. But I mean, like when I mean like personally, I feel like he's gonna because you know it's gonna take them a while to get to Wano. You know what I'm saying? Like the Straw Hats. So I'm one of the people that feel like either the Lurking Legend or Weevil is gonna end up fighting Luffy. Like they're gonna cross paths in some way, and Luffy's gonna fight him.
Weevil has
And that's gonna
Before
give
Wano,
him
you
that-
mean?
Weevil doesn't.
Yeah,
Isn't considered Luffy,
not,
is he?
it's Wano, but it's not. It's like he said. We get a flashback to what happened in Wano while we were away, like with Zoe. So what if it's the opposite? You know what I mean? Like it has the reverse as well.
Okay. My next question, I have a question, and that's Do you guys think that Wano is going to be the entire Kaido arc, or is Kaido going to have his is Wano just a small portion of the versus Kaido arc?
I want to throw in my 2 cents here first for this one. I think that Wano itself is setting up to be the Kaido arc. Just based on everything that's being said, you see in the Reverie they keep bringing up the country of Wano time and time again. I think the most persuasive thing to me, and I didn't believe this initially, the most persuasive thing to me is the fact that Kaido himself said, if you to Big Mom, if you come to Wano, we will fight. If there's any sort of Kaido Big Mom action in Wano, especially with the government's attention on Wano as well, I think that whether it might not necessarily be at the very beginning of the arc that everyone is present, but I think by the end everyone will be present.
And just realized that we never actually had the confirmation for Kaido to be in Wano, but now we do. Because Els couldn't say he's killing Big Mom.
Yeah, I know that a lot of people did suspect that it was possible that Kaido and Wano were going to be separate arcs, especially when Wano was revealed to have the Shogun and things like that as major threats. Yeah. So people were interested to see whether the Shogun would be the major threat of Wano, and then I think Kaido was somewhere else, especially given that we've seen a lot of evidence of him being on a winter island. But I think the reality is that he is at Wano.
I think that's what the conversation with Big Mom is definitely hinting at. Sorry, go ahead, Joby.
As a side note to the whole Winter Island thing, we're not exactly sure what Wano is like yet. And I'm not convinced that Wano is large enough to be a country containing multiple different climates. So I'm wondering if that Winter Island isn't maybe like part of Wano in some way or another.
I mean, Whole Cake Island is an archipelago with 36 islands, so Toadland, sorry.
Exactly.
So I guess Wano is probably not gonna be one big chunk of land. That's not how the One Piece world is built usually. So I guess it's gonna be an archipelago too.
I mean, the thing about Wano is that
I just think it'll be.
Let's not talk over each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like Wano, like even the world government's scared of Wano, so I feel like it's gonna be like a massive country, rather like it has to have some kind of like special things that even the world government is scared of.
Well, I mean, even related to Japan itself, right? Japan is composed of, or it's a very, I'm not sure if this is the correct word, but islandous, or like it's composed of many islands. Obviously, there's a mainland. That could be something that is a feature of Wano itself, where you have a giant mainland and many smaller islands surrounding it. That's just something that makes sense to me. I think also I've compared in the past, a lot of people have as well, the potential of it being similar to the Naruto universe, I guess, where you have the land of, fire or mist or sand or whatever it might be, because you have various samurai-like people, like I hate this name so much. I'm going to try and say it anyway. Shiruru of the rain. All right. And then you have Jigoro of the mist as well, who was a zombie, but he looked samurai-like. And several other characters like that. Foxfire, Kinemon, a lot of people maybe associate Foxfire with a particular area. It's
style.
Exactly.
I mean, he can manipulate fire. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the thing though. If you remember, Oden used to be a lord of a territory, and in Japan, in general, you have territories and the shogun who rules all over them. Basically, Oden used to be a lord of an area, and then probably when he was executed, he lost that area. Now Shogun has that part of area as well, but at the same time there are more areas around, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean,
maybe they are provinces.
So let's move the conversation a little bit. Let's stick back on. There's so much to talk about with the Reverie. I'd rather stick with like the most interesting, most important things. So we were talking a little bit about Big Mom. So let's keep this on the whole Big Mom train. I think it's pretty clear that Big Mom is going to go to Wano. There seems to be at least some debate, I'm gathering, that whether or not Kaido and Big Mom will actually join forces or have a fight. I don't think everyone believes that, but my take is it seems pretty clear based on Kaido's language that if Big Mom shows up, they're going to fight. I've always thought this, and it seems to be going in that direction to me, but I'm more curious as to what everybody else thinks. Do you think that Big Mom will be more of an asset to the Straw Hats than an enemy by the time she gets to Wano, or how will that shake out?
I mean, like, okay, my bad. Me personally, right? I feel like she's gonna indirectly help them, like because she's gonna find out Sanji's gonna ask her, "How'd you like the cake? Was it good? Was it delicious?" And then she's gonna say, "Yeah, wait, how do you know about that?" You know. So I feel like, you know, and then she's gonna end up, you know, indirectly helping them. I don't personally think against Kaido, but I mean, I just think she's gonna help them in some way. I don't think that they're gonna be allies per se, but they'll have an alliance in an aspect.
I would like
because it'll basically.
I will kick your ass all over the.
So we can't hear you. So somebody move him out and tell him to increase his mic volume if he can. But
I just feel like, you know, like Luffy's alliance itself, like I don't believe is strong enough to take on even Kaido itself. So I don't know how, like, even like if Big Mom joins the fight, how Luffy will be able to fight Kaido and Big Mom at the same time, because that just feels like too much. It's too much to handle,
even for Luffy.
So I feel like it's gonna be like how Kaido said, if Big Mom comes to him, he's gonna fight her. So I feel like if Big Mom does come, she's gonna fight Kaido, and Luffy's gonna, like, you know, he's gonna come clean up maybe, or like, we don't even know what's happened to Zoro and all them lot, and the other half of the Straw Hat, but like, they could be captured by all we know, and like, as Big Mom coming in, that could be a good distraction for Luffy and Sanji and them lot to come and rescue
I feel
Zoro,
like
Kid.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point in time, there's only two things that you can believe. Because it's telegraphed Big Mom is coming to Wano. You either have to believe that Luffy is going to defeat Big Mom and then fight Kaido. He doesn't have to defeat Kaido, but like he can't not defeat both of them, I would figure.
Yeah.
And because Kaido said that he would fight Big Mom, if she came there, then that would mean that Luffy would have to defeat Big Mom before Kaido had an opportunity to do that himself, which just seems incredibly awkward to me, but I guess it's possible. Or the other way that this works is that you have Kaido and Big Mom there at the same time they fight, and that helps Luffy in whatever way, whether it's because Kaido defeats Big Mom, therefore Big Mom doesn't defeat Luffy, or, you know, Big Mom and Kaido fight, and Big Mom weakens Kaido just a little bit enough to make victory possible. Because I mean, I remember an interview from years ago where Oda wasn't exactly sure how he was going to go and defeat Kaido. I mean, this could be sort of playing into that a little bit. But does anyone else have any like thoughts about this, or just throw your opinion out there? Like, Big Mom, inadvertent ally, confirmed for a lot of people, or no?
Yeah, I was thinking.
No, I don't think so.
can
see that.
I think
because like
I think
a lot of people do help Luffy in a very like an indirect way. It's, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really interesting. On like, we're gonna have two Yonko at Wano, so
eventually
I don't. I mean, maybe. But
that could, you can count Luffy as a third Yonko.
That. It's leaning towards that. So
but is Big Mom gonna be there?
Might come in because of what he said on chapter 903 at the very end. Honestly, I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards indirect ally with weakening Kaido in that fight, which would be awesome to see.
All right, we're gonna sidetrack this conversation for just one moment. We got I got a donation from Hype Beast Morgans a little bit ago to invite Dritz. I invited Dritz, but I don't know if he's working or whatever. And then we got a donation from, scrolling down, Codlack Corey for $5. Thank you, bro. And he has this question: can Mancherry heal Kuma? I feel like that would be an epic scene. I definitely think it's possible. I think Mancherry can heal anybody. I don't know how important it would be because it's kind of described that Kuma is a tank, right? So it would just be an aesthetic thing. I feel like just so that he looks pretty. I wouldn't see that as being overly important, but
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, but at the same time, Kuma is not okay. He's injured on the outside physically, but his consequence is away. Like, can she bring back his consequence in a way?
I suppose that's possible, right? I mean, that would be insane. But it doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility in a shonen story for Oda to take that direction.
You mean by healing? You mean by give the conscience back by healing? Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a bit overpowered. A little bit of a pull there, but I don't think it's possible.
I disagree because you can't bring back what isn't there in the first place.
Yeah, that's
the only reason. That's the only reason like Law kept his arm because he needed it, right? Imagine like you missing half your body. It's the same thing with your conscience. You can't bring up something that is already gone. I think that's outside the realm of our ability.
I could argue it's just hidden, but we shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
I mean, my point is that the limits haven't been established yet, so a lot of possibility exists. But let's
go.
Yeah, go ahead.
To go back to the topic, I think I always had the feeling that Big Mom, just by the means of her backstory, has the opportunity to change within the whole One Piece story. I kind of always get this type of vibe from her because she was kind of abused from Strusen, not abused, maybe like kind of misled and what's the right word? You know what I mean. And it's not her idea, it's not her fault, and I think she could really redeem herself heavily.
I honestly think that storyline's imminent for Big Mom. Because one thing, like a lot of people disagree with this initially, and I think a lot of people watching the anime started to get this impression a little bit more. Big Mom certainly has problems, and she's not a good person now, but she's not really to blame for what it is that she's done. And if Oda could create a little bit of wiggle room for her in order to understand her mistakes, which I'm not certain that she does at this point in time, it could lead to a really powerful moment.
I think she understands one mistake, because watching the anime, it seems like she's trying to suppress a memory of like what happened to Mother Caramel. Because when that one guy asked her, like, so who's Mother Caramel? And she basically attacked him, like, don't intrude my memory. In my thought, I'm thinking she kind of knows what's going on, but she wants to suppress it.
Probably.
Because I don't think so. Well,
why don't you think so? Hold on, pause for a second. Why don't you think so?
I don't think so because the way it was portrayed as a kid, she was too confused to actually feel like she was suppressing it. Because kids have innocence, right? And for a kid to suppress something is a bit mischievous, I guess, for a kid. And you would see it clearly, but in the panels in the manga, I remember reading it, there's no intention whatsoever. She was genuinely clueless. However, the way I see it unfolding is considering the lifespan of giants, the guy who saw it happen, once Elbaf comes round, which I'm sure Big Mom is going to survive to Elbaf, because that's supposed to be the way I see it.
Clue. Because if in her age, she should have a clue. Of like
unless Trishan told her, right? Which I'm pretty sure he didn't. I think that giant who already saw it, probably still alive. The whole clan of giants knows this, and I think they're gonna unveil it to her, and it's gonna literally rock her fucking. Oh my god! Can I curse on this?
Yeah, go ahead. I don't care.
I was trying to hold back, but I mean, it's gonna rock her fucking personality like just down to the core. And I think that's going to spark the change. So it's in 2 arcs time. You guys are rushing it.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Because we're seeing Big Mom head towards Wano. That doesn't mean that's her final destination necessarily. Although I personally think that it is, but it's not necessarily the case. But if it is her final destination, then this would right now you have a theory, right? Of the Straw Grand Fleet, we suspect that the Grand Fleet will be needed at some point in time. Wano is a good suspect for that. You have the giants, Hydrogen and the others that are part of the fleet. That's a perfect way to sort of set up an encounter between them, who clearly know what Big Mom has done, and Big Mom, who may not be aware or have been suppressing it in some way.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah, I agree with that. So it could be Elbaf, it could be Hydrogen. Which one really?
Does anybody else have any more thoughts about Big Mom?
I wanna comment on Kuma. There's a guy on a different server who said that he might have used his ability to extract his memories and keep them safe with Dr. Vagabond. So when the time comes, he can take them back.
Well, I think that has to be the case, honestly. I see no possibility for Oda to have given to not have given Kuma at least a chance at a way out. Like it doesn't necessarily have to manifest itself, but that possibility I feel like has to exist. And so the winning condition for Kuma at this point in time is getting his memories back, which means that at this point in the story, it has to be possible to get them back.
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, that's basically the end of the thought there. So if you've taken the memories and then they have to be stored somewhere, like a floppy disk or something, that's just the way I rationalize it. Go ahead.
I'm thinking his memories and his personality is already transferred to like a different body. Like he's somewhere with Vegapunk right now as a tiny little assistant.
That's a good idea.
His body's in Mariejois, and just being controlled. Like he gave up on his body basically.
Hey, what's up?
Kite.
All right, so
like Kite.
Yeah, so let's go back to the Reverie. Let's talk about some of the bigger topics again. I want to talk. I want to talk about the huge hat. That's really what I want to talk about first.
That thing.
I'm just gonna. I'm just
What a
gonna.
great choice,
I'm gonna
man.
leave.
What a great choice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the floor to you guys and find some sort of. Just go for it. I guess.
Bruh, I've been since I ever saw it. I've been saying Imu is gonna use it to destroy Fishman Island. Like she's the person in prophecy, not Luffy. I don't think it was Luffy, bro.
That hat has made me gone crazy. Like I don't know what it is exactly. Like maybe they're just a big fan of Luffy. Who knows?
I think one of my
apparently not.
I think one of my favorite little theories that I've heard about the hat is that it's not the hat itself, but it's the room, and that the room shows Immo-sama what he or she wants to see, like within what they're questioning. So kind of like the magic mirror in with the evil queen in, I think it's Sleeping Beauty or something, isn't it?
That's actually an interesting one.
So wait.
The hat is just like an information room. So they go to the room, they ask the room a question, and then the room shows them their answer.
I'm getting some Harry Potter vibes right now with the Mirror of Erised.
Yeah.
But the question is like why are there so many rooms?
Yeah, so just to explain to everyone who might not be up to date with this, I'm not certain who's out there in the comments. The interesting thing about this room, obviously it's a big room, which is kind of unproportionally big for the things that it seemingly is holding. But on the wall you have outcroppings, or I'm not exactly sure what to call them, but the hat is in one. It's on a sort of indented pedestal, but there's several others as well. The hat's one is the only one that's lit up. There's 7 in total that we can see. There could be more than that as well. So there could be other objects in this room as well, or if these are pathways. Honestly, since we're not really seeing anything, and there could be a lot of things hidden, there could be a lot going on there. But anyway.
I mean, I want to talk about
my reply to Sage's mini theory, like quick one, is I mean, if that was true, why would you need multiple ones? I mean, unless you'd have multiple things on your mind, or like an answer that has multiple answers, a question that has multiple answers. Why would you need like multiple cuttings in the wall?
Well, there's only one that's lit up, like Joyboy says, so it's possible
that what's the point of the others?
Serves that purpose, and the others serve a different purpose.
No, about the theory, like how it displays what you think, or maybe it's like a mirror that asks you. I don't feel like it's that, because I felt like the hat was actually a physical item that was there.
Oh, don't get me wrong, so do I, because it was frozen. I just find it a really interesting little theory.
I kind of just want to throw it out there that this might be just a big tomb, and the head represents whoever is lying below it.
Yeah, so I want to talk about this theory because I've spent some time to think about it, and really the question about the hat starts here. is this the national treasure or not, right? That's the first question we should be asking, because it's implied that it is, because Doflamingo is talking about the treasure and it being revealed, and then we see the hat. But that does not mean that Oda is not a bastard and isn't hiding the national treasure and distracting us with the hat, which is related to the national treasure in some way or another.
It's the biggest red herring ever.
That's what he is constantly doing.
Right, exactly.
Is it considered national treasure as like a war trophy, maybe? Like
it could be. It could be anything. It could be an ornament. It could be the national treasure. The original owner that was, had the straw hat. Who knows, right? But the question is whether the hat is the treasure or not. All right. And
I'm just interested in the fact that it's a straw hat. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, you said power withers.
Because it's like, what do we know about straw hats in One Piece? We know that the straw hat that Luffy currently has been passed down to him by Goldie Roger, by Shanks, is symbolic of the will of D. So it's like, is this other straw hat symbolizing something else? Maybe a different kind of will of D? Something like that? I don't know.
I kind of feel like it's a key to the D. Like
no.
That's a
thing. The straw hat is the same key, maybe.
The whole thing with this is, and Joyba, you posted a tweet about this head at that moment when it came out, and I still posted my question about the same topic. Why would they preserve a head which has powers if they cannot use it? And in my opinion, there is no answer to that question. So the question is, either the head has no power, and it's either the head has no power, or it actually can be used at some point by the world government.
Well,
not exactly be used, but they cannot use it.
Just to interject here for a moment, I think the reason why you would keep the hat, even if you can't use it, is that you could potentially use it in the future.
Yeah, but it wasn't a freezer.
Okay, but that was my second possibility. Yeah, so they are trying to preserve it for a possible future usage of it.
Or
that's actually the biggest logical reason you can come up for its presence.
Yeah, as a trophy.
Or you could stop people from using it. Or you can just keep it to stop people from using it.
Well, I mean, if you were just stopping other people from using it and you had no ability or intention of using it in the future, you would attempt to destroy it if that was possible.
Exactly.
Yeah, but maybe it's indestructible. Yeah, but it's the same thing with the poneglyphs. I mean, it's the same thing. You can't destroy them, right?
Yeah, but that's kind of assuming the head cannot be destroyed. That's a big assumption there.
All right, we got a donation from RC for $10. Thank you so much, RC. He says, I suspect instead of doing away with the warlords, the world government will sacrifice them to start the world cleanse. And send them to battle to die.
Why?
So basically, he basically.
But why would Mihawk go?
Well, so basically, basically the theory that he's suggesting is that you have some sort of big conflict coming up, probably with Kaido. So the world government's going to send the warlords to this battle for the purpose of dying. I'm not certain if I feel that, because I don't think you can count on the warlords dying in that situation. I think that if you want to abolish them, then you need to go all the way. That's just my 2 cents on this. But for sure, I see the warlords gone by the end of this arc. But
actually.
Go ahead.
Sorry, really quickly. In that, you actually brought up something that I didn't even consider. The warlords going to Wano on the Marines' behalf. Like, I never even considered that.
Shit.
Because the Marines said that they didn't want to send any of the admirals over there because, like, Wano isn't a part of the world government, so, like, it's not really jurisdiction. Yeah, and the samurai are really strong. So it's like, why not send the warlords to do their bidding?
Definitely. That's a good...
It was implied that they would send the warlords there, and the big deal with that is that Luffy has a good bit of support of the warlords.
From the warlords.
But yeah, that's why if Bo Hancock is in there, arc is short.
Well, yeah, it depends on which warlord shows up. Isn't Kuma also a warlord?
I want to go back to what I was saying before, but with the Straw Hat thing, we won't know for sure what it resembles, what it means until, like, Oda shows us, because all our guesses will be false no matter what, because we do not know. And it's with the D.
Let's actually go back to the hat. So I agree with you completely.
I mean, the only thing I can tell about it was with Rayleigh when he saw him at that auction house and said, "That straw hat it suits a fearless man like yourself." That's what he says, and then kind of seems like the people that wear straw hats are fearless, like Shanks and Roger and for example, anyone else, Joy Boy or whatever.
Yeah. So you're saying they're connected to Will of D, or just that's a separate thing?
Look, I don't think it's separate. It's very separate. With D, I think it just has something to do with the 20 kingdoms and the 20 kingdoms going versus the people of D, and then so on and so forth.
So here's the question I want to ask for everyone, and this again sort of assumes whether or not you believe that the hat is the treasure or not. But do you believe that if the hat is the treasure, that it can just be symbolic? Or if it is the treasure, do you think that it has to have some sort of magical ability here too unexplained?
I don't think it needs a magical ability. Maybe it is symbolic of the former kingdom. What was it, that other kingdom where the D's are from? Maybe there was like something about that. Maybe it's symbolic of that. You know,
Rafto probably. The D's are probably from Rafto.
Joe Boy's kingdom.
May I touch on that?
Yeah, that
or the D's. The D's is supposed to be in Mariejois.
I think it's symbolic and something else.
Wait,
May I touch on that really quick?
Hold on, pause 1 second. The ancient kingdom is the kingdom that we have theorized is the home of the D's. That is not a confirmed connection. I have talked about a theory in the past of the island Rusu Kaina, whereas the giant islands that evolve really fast that Luffy trained on during the time skip, which is stated that previously have held a civilization. And I wonder if that might have been connected in some way, but other than that, there's no confirmation of anything.
If you actually go back to where Rayleigh was showing Luffy the island, I kind of feel that Rayleigh actually trained on the island too. I don't know. If you go watch the episode, it seems like the way he talks about it, there's 48 seasons, like he knew exactly what it's all about, where to go, you know. There was a kingdom here before, you know, he knew everything about it. Seems like he knew more than we expect of it.
It's likely the
well, he has traveled everywhere.
So
but 3 years in the Grand Line is same as Luffy, right?
I wonder why Oda would show us that there's a Straw Hat in Mariejois. And now that we know the importance of this Imu-sama character, why are they in possession of it?
I feel like the Straw Hat will be
because it's symbolic.
So if the hat is simply symbolic, then it is. We're all assuming, right, because of the associations with the hat right now, it's symbolic for the other team. The team that you're not a part of. So why the hell would you preserve their symbol? Right?
No, think about what Daffy was saying, bro. He said he wants someone to hurt and reveal the secret, because if he doesn't, the power's gonna go away. But if it's just a regular hat, right? Why does it have power? Why do you need to say the secret as soon as possible? Why are you saying as soon as someone knows it's gonna get killed? Why are they coming for Daffy if it's just a regular hat?
Well, this goes back to the question of whether or not the hat is the ancient weapon or not, or the national treasure or not. If the hat is the national treasure, Doflamingo straight up says that he could have ruled the world if he had it. Period. Unless well, it just depends on what the hat does, right? Just so let's change this for a second. Let's assume that the hat is a crown. Right? And how many mythologies does a crown have a magical ability that is capable of allowing someone to rule the world? You change the symbol just a little bit, and it changes your perception on it completely. A lot of people are so stuck in the mindset that it's a stride. They can't have any power whatsoever. And I really disagree with that. That's not to say it definitely does have powers, but it's a possibility that we should be.
It's like a relic or something?
I think it definitely does. The reason I think it definitely does is because when they were talking about it in the chapter, they quickly switched to Dofi, didn't they? Which is very convenient since he was the guy. Very convenient since he was the guy talking about the whole weapon of controlling the whole world and all that. So it's too convenient that they just switched up when showing the hat. It must mean, logically speaking, unless Oda was on drugs when he did that, it just must
like
mean.
Always.
He's not on drugs. He's just a sneaky bastard.
He doesn't suddenly troll suddenly.
He is a sneaky.
I think because of that, it must be the weapon. I mean, not the weapon. I mean, the treasure.
I think it's just a hint.
All I know is Blackbeard about to get that hat.
All right,
but think about it. I'm some had a picture of Luffy and Blackbeard while looking at that hat. Why?
One of them has a hat. One of them doesn't.
Or maybe because remember, Blackbeard knows a lot about like how to extract the powers and things. He knows a lot.
I feel like Blackbeard's gonna do some scum-ass shit.
Probably not to use the relic, which is the hat.
One at a time, my love.
May I ask?
One at a time.
When isn't Blackbeard doing some scum-ass shit?
Oh, he's going to. I promise you, bro.
One at a time.
Yo, so interjecting, we got a donation. We got a donation from that fly pigeon who I see around a lot. He says, "Hey Joy Boy, YouTube here. Big fan of your theories and content, especially when there's a break. Team Blackbeard for life. I appreciate you. Thank you, bro."
You know, I had a theory that like people didn't like, based on when how Insama was looking at the photos and had Blackbeard and Luffy cut up, and how the Gorosei was like, "Who should we get rid of?" to Insama, and the thought in the back of my head is like, would Blackbeard and Luffy team up against the government?
That was the thought I had as well.
I don't think directly, but maybe indirectly.
No.
Those two together, that's dangerous threats. I'm Sama's end goal, probably.
It wouldn't happen. Luffy doesn't get along with him whatsoever.
Yeah,
you saw in what was that one island? Right before Skypiea. What was it called?
Jaya.
Jaya. There you go. All right. So remember when they were opposite? They're basically opposite. 51 pies, 51 pieces of meat. You saw that episode, right? It was just like completely opposite, but they have the same dream. That's the thing.
Yeah, they're setting their ideals, but I feel like that Luffy would never team up with Blackbeard because he's pretty much directly responsible for Ace's death.
Yeah, and people that he usually recruits or he partners with, he has a good feeling about. I don't think Luffy has something to do with D, but.
And Blackbeard is going to be one of the final enemies, I think.
Definitely. My theory is he'll kill Shanks. He'll get Luffy finds out. He'll put his hat on Shanks' grave and go beat his ass and find the One Piece.
I would say final enemy, but they still team up to go against the government in Ian.
Right. They would have to.
Yeah.
I think they would have to and settle it like Naruto and Sasuke at the end. Afterwards. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Or Goku and Frieza.
They may get along.
I don't think they could ever get along or work together, bro. It's just be.
How about really quick to touch on that?
They're not working together. I promise you. I promise you. I'll put that on my life. They're not going on. They're going not. They're not going with each other.
Really quick, just to touch on that hat, I just would like your input on this because Foxy. I know nobody likes to talk about Foxy, but Foxy.
Fuck that nigga.
He said when he talked about the Davy back rules, he said that the rules were passed down from Pirate Island, and this is an island that was mentioned just that one time, really. And I go back to O'Hara and Clover, and he was murdered because he was going to reveal the name of the ancient kingdom, this great kingdom. And the only thing that I could think of that makes sense to me that would be kill worthy is if it was Pirate Island. And because that name in itself being known would shock the world. And that, bringing back to the hat, it brought me all the way back to that. So I believe that what Joy Boy said, that is a crown of the former king of Pirate Island. I do believe that is like a thing.
So that's why you can confiscate it? Keep it in like a room?
Me and you, our thoughts are pretty close. I like that. I like agreement. Agreement feels good.
Can I, if I can interrupt here.
Something quickly?
Go ahead.
Let's talk about the head itself. So let's put aside whether he has power or not. Do you really think the head is that big as it was shown in the panel? Because I think it's the way Oda draws panels sometimes. It's something of a perspective. So if you think back about the first appearance of Kaido, he was drawn like he is 50 meter tall.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a lot bigger or smaller. That's one thing that Oda himself criticizes himself on. Like even drawing Katakuri at the end of Whole Cake Island, where the last panel where Katakuri had fallen down, right? He looked
he was huge,
proportionally much more giant than he had been in. So Oda's bad at it. So the hat could be smaller or bigger.
Yeah, I think the hat is the size we see it in the chapter, though. I'm pretty sure because he made the person. He made the person standing right next to it, whoever it was, an assassin, the person with the post. He made the person standing at a good feet, well, taller than usual, not at a good feet. And he was standing right next to it. So I think if we looked at both the hat and the person that was standing right next to the hat and compared it, we could kind of tell a difference. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. So
I know he wouldn't do that on purpose.
Haven't you guys realized that there's an angle in the camera view on that panel?
It's a bird's eye view.
It's actually kind of
there is an angle. Yeah.
Well, something so that could be the case as well.
Yeah. So I just want to interject here that I feel very confident that at the very least the hat is bigger than a normal hat. It's
yes.
Oda meant to imply that this would belong to a larger person. But I actually I got a donation from RC, and this is actually a theory I wanted to talk about a little bit earlier. I forgot about it. But RC says that Imu is a national treasure. Was also in panel. Dofi mentioned Opie fruit would allow him to utilize the national treasure. Personality swap into Imu? ? King may have powers more likely than Hat. This is actually a really old theory now.
Damn.
And this is really interesting. So the idea, this was even before we got this last chapter, was that the national treasure was a body of a god, essentially. Like some overpowered entity that was being kept hidden somewhere secret in Mariejois. And the reason why this theory existed was because of Chinese mythology. I keep bringing this up. It's really hard for me to explain because the theory that I watched a long time ago is like 30 minutes long. It's super in depth. Follows all the mythology. But I think it's called the greatest void century theory ever. I think if you type that in, I think it was by Wasabi Fold, a YouTuber. It's worth your time if you have time for that and if you have the focus for it. But it's basically Chinese mythology. But it's really interesting now considering this because you have the hat, which is sitting on something, right? Like over an outcropping, right? So that could be a tomb. A lot of people are speculating that the hat is actually sitting over some kind of grave. And we're like, you know, we have Imu here. I don't think that Imu is the national treasure, or did I call him Imu? But I'm Sama or whatever. But there could be like another person like him, like a ruler or something like that. But the reason why this theory is so intriguing to me is because Doflamingo specifically said, if I had the Opio no Mi that day, then I could use the national treasure to rule the world. So what we know about what the Opio no Mi does is kind of limited at this point. It's like immortality surgery, personality swap. Those are the two big ones that he talked about at the time. So, you know, personality swap to rule the world.
$50.
It's kind of...
Oof.
What?
I would like to add something real quick.
$10 too. Holy shit!
What are you playing?
Right after or near when a straw hat, the big one was revealed, Garb brought up the Rocks Locks guy. What if that's his hat and that's his grave?
I doubt it. I actually highly doubt it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about that.
Think about it. Like, what if the hat had power because he would be before Goldie Roger, and Goldie Roger started the whole hat thing.
If the hat has power, my money is on luck or fate related abilities of some kind.
That would make sense.
That makes the most sense to me. That's why it's confiscated in a special room by itself.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about Hawkins when he saw him in the war? When he was like, no matter what. When he was looking at his Luffy's fate, he was like, no matter what, his death never drops to zero.
Well, so the reason
probability, right?
Yeah. The reason that I speculated this in the first place is because that the straw hat is woven, like straw hats themselves are woven. And when you're talking about classical fate mythology, usually they like weave tapestries to direct, you know, somebody's fate, sort of thing. So I think using a straw hat, it really works there. If there was some sort of fate weaving power that existed.
Some luck, like super luck in the hat.
That sucks though, because that basically makes it like Luffy was destined to like not fail.
Okay, well I want to interject in this a lot. I see a lot of people talking about this. If you are in denial that Luffy is the chosen one and that Oda has not made that a priority to emphasize in the story, then like you need to reevaluate that, because time and time again the strangest shit, the most luckiest shit happens to Luffy. And Oda doesn't go about hiding it. So like 100%, Luffy is the chosen one. Like you need to.
That's why Shanks gave him the hat and sacrificed the arm, bro.
Yo, if I can,
kind of sucks to think about it,
but another thing I thought about. Oh, go ahead. I got a lot of tangents.
But the hat, you guys basically were stating about the hat inside of the power and stuff it holds. I don't actually think it's a grave, and it's not the national treasure. As you would see, there's many more columns. I think it's more of a trophy room where they will have basically the weapons and like treasures they've acquired over the years. If you guys seen the Thor Ragnarok, it's I'm pretty sure it was Thor. He went into the vault room where it was basically all the things that they have collected over the years, and I think that he was just looking at the hat because it was more related to Luffy and what has been happening so far with Luffy coming up to power.
I agree.
The thing is, if that's not the national treasure, then
Here's my question, though.
Why would they correlate Why would they have Dofi making his speech about the
because
national
Oda's
treasure
a
at the same
bastard.
time?
Basically, the rationale for that is
That's right.
Oda.
But there's literally no reason to do that.
When has Oda actually?
That should be the title of the stream.
Wait,
Oda is a
what?
bastard.
Oda is a bastard.
All right, so we
I
got
mean, like Oda, like I don't feel like the hat itself has any power. I feel like it's just hiding something that we don't know about yet, in my opinion.
Well, like there's something under the hat, like a button.
It's just a.
He
like
the destroy the world
like
button.
Destroy the world button. The red light just collapses.
Dude, Atomic Bomb, man. I'm calling it right now.
All right.
Really big golden
Sanji's gonna push that button and make the all blue.
The secret to the act, the world, literally.
All right, we got some donations. I want to read out some donations. So we got a donation from Vectave for some currency that I guess is $2. He asks, "What if Mariejois is the ancient character?" Hey, don't laugh at me. What are you doing? I don't stream often. Anyway, he asks, "What if Mariejois is the ancient kingdom, and I'm Sama was undesired king?"
I highly doubt that, to be honest.
Kind of interesting.
Somebody
Never
in the chat. They asked, what if
Mariejois looks too, modern in a sort of way, to be honest.
Too modern for that.
Yeah, it's
in the chat. They asked when the.
I mean, it could have been. It could have been a place they gathered some. I don't know.
I mean, it could be buried below it. I mean, Mariejois is a pretty.
Exactly. I was about to say, Mariejois looks modern, but then you look under the surface and there's slaves that's running all the quote-unquote technology.
Also, the slave thing makes me think this way. I think that the thing that the revolutionaries are going to do in order to declare war on the celestial dragons is actually slaves.
Yes, like exactly. Like Bello Betty is actually, I think, really important here. It sucks that she's not,
right?
Yeah. Because, like, they could get all the slaves really rally behind them because we see the Celestial Dragons are very dependent on these slaves.
I think,
they use them for everything.
Yeah, those people have been enslaved, so they're going to obviously think that the government's a piece of shit because they're fucking slaves,
Well,
hey guys,
this brings up
I
the
know
subject.
I'm going off subject, but can I talk about
It sounded like a bomb was coming in. Anyone else
being
hear
a slave?
The truth bomb.
Do
Go.
you think Bonney?
Hold on, pause. Go for it. Sorry.
Do you think Bonney actually might be with the revolutionaries? Is there any possible?
I really doubt it at this point. I think this last chapter heavily implied that she's not. That she's acting. They both have the same agenda, but they're doing it separately. If they had the same agenda, then they would be working more together. And we're not giving that impression at all.
Is that the active war against the
I think so,
celestial dragons trying to take Kuma back?
I actually doubt it though. Because
I seriously, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Tiger already did that. I mean, there has to be something bigger.
I mean, it could be that on top of something else as well. Like, for a fact that they probably are going to heavily use the slaves for something. I mean, they're definitely going to. But Kuma isn't Kuma. They all know Kuma's gone.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk about declaring war on the world government, you can talk about how they would get Kuma away from these celestial dragons.
Yeah. From the same
reason. Guys, one at a time, please.
Have you considered that Kuma is gonna resist? He won't go.
I don't think he has any willpower left. Does he?
I don't think he can.
No, he doesn't have a will anymore. Honestly, to do it.
I mean, something that Julie Bonney could do is maybe turn him into a child and then take him out like that.
Resist the revolutionaries. He's gonna have to fight Sabo.
Doesn't have a mind anymore.
Would Julie Bonney's fruit even work on him now, since he's pretty much all a machine? Like he's not organic matter.
Actually, that's something I didn't even consider. Would her devil fruit work on a cyborg?
I mean, he still is a human being as a very basic concept, so
I would like to
guess
think it would. Yeah.
I think that's completely up to Oda. Whatever Oda wants to accomplish with the fruit, I think he could realistically do with Kuma.
Actually, it would be so tragic. Think of it. Julie Bonney tries to turn him into a child, but can't because Like that would
person
so
from the Z movie, she would be able to because she's able to do that to inorganic matter as well. So
That's a good
if her
question.
power works similarly.
Oh, okay, then yeah. Probably.
All right, so I want to
There goes my headcanon.
Yeah, I want to get into another donation here. I don't want to fall behind with these. We got a donation from forgive me, I'm gonna mispronounce this. Heinrich or Henrik.
You said it right the first time.
Yeah. I agree.
I can get the second name anyway. For 50 NOK, whoever knows what NOK is, he asked this question: Do you think Fujitora could side with the Revolutionary Army if they attack Shirahoshi or Vivi during the Reverie? He hates the screams of the innocents. What do you guys think?
I think personally, I think that even if they didn't touch her at all, either one character, that he'd be on their side in some way, because I feel like he's going to get to that point where they're not going to be able to destroy the warlord system, and
because Cobra and Raikou might not be able to agree with it.
Wait, hold on.
yeah, and then Cobra, that's going to cause Cobra's death. Like,
yeah, but those two kings themselves.
The Navy, so he could actually abolish the warlord system. So if they don't allow him to do that, then they'll probably leave.
I don't think that he would do that. I think that he that's his whole plan is to take it down from the inside. If he just defects, I think that just is.
He might become like an agent in secret for them too. That's
Honestly,
always
I don't think that, guys.
Why do you make a big deal about Cobra? Guys, he's just... I don't think he's a big thing.
Guys, will Kaminu and like Sengoku show up? Because they're right there. They're in the headquarters, which is right there. So is Garp. He's in the other side.
But can I
so,
say
like,
what?
if anything goes down,
Fujitora would not defect. I think he agrees. He agrees with the justice of the world government, except the warlord system.
Yeah,
But he doesn't like that.
Yeah, that's my personal opinion as well. That Fujitora's major gripe is against pirates and how the world government has specifically been dealing with pirates. But other than that, he would be extremely loyal to the world government. So in a situation with the warlords, what Fujitora wants is for the world government to have a heavy hand, not give them any power, and I guess try harder to destroy them. And so in that way, I think he might be a little bit calculating and scheming, and might look aside a moment of injustice, given that he's a part of the world government in the first place and probably knows about the celestial dragons, for the sake of what he wants to accomplish with destroying pirates.
Yeah, I honestly
that makes sense.
If you look at it though,
and Green Bull there for a reason, because of the revolutionaries, there might. Do you think there might be a fight or something, or do you think they'll escape before there is?
I would hope so. I think it'd be a major cock tease if there wasn't.
Yeah, that would make
sense.
But
don't you guys?
Wait. Let Red speak, please.
Okay, so Joy Boy, do you think that Vivi is gonna die in this arc, because it seems like she's do you think I didn't think she was either.
No.
Yeah, Cobra probably is.
No.
Down with me.
If Vivi dies, I will legitimate rage. Like, she can die eventually, but she cannot die without Luffy being there.
She can die eventually.
No.
Not right now. She can't die now.
It's not the right moment. It's not the right moment. I don't think Vivi's gonna die though. I should probably clarify that before everybody in the comments judges me. I don't think Vivi is gonna die. But if she were
video, Joy Boy wants Vivi to die, not now but later.
But if she were to die, now is not the right time.
Can I say, if there is a situation in which Vivi was in danger, I think Pell has the power to fly her out of the red line. Like, he has the power to carry her down.
Green Bull's gonna save her.
Who's coming to kill her?
I was actually kind of hoping that the Revolutionary Army would plant like a bomb, and then Pell would be the one to take the bomb.
Will P all over again.
We get that over again, but he dies this time.
The Will P.
Bro, the entire community would rage.
Can I say something?
Do you guys think it's plausible that, like, Pell survives only because Oda wanted him as an escort in the Reverie? Like, because he showed up in the he must have a role to play.
I mean, actually, speaking of Pell, really quickly, I think his timing was kind of suspect, right? When he showed up to Vivi's aid, like right after Shirahoshi was done, like almost being captured, he just shows up, like, okay, looks like everything's good now. Hi, Vivi, how you doing?
Yeah, Sage, are you implying that Pell is there to survive another nuke? Is that what you're saying?
Like Oda's got something planned for him.
There's a lot of things that I like to imply. One of them is definitely that Pell is there to survive something. Like, there's a reason he's here. There's a reason he survived a nuke, and I think I'm hoping gonna show it in this Reverie.
Vivi's gonna die and Pell becomes a new king.
If
maybe Pell's in with the celestial dragons.
You know what'd be really dramatic? If Pell and her father die, like Cobra dies. I mean, Cobra dies, but Pell has enough strength to fly her down the red line, and like she floats on a raft, like, or a boat, a little small boat away from Pell, while Pell is just like dying there dead. But
Right to raffle.
That's just a little bit.
Somebody needs to draw that. Like,
that's a tragic headcanon. That is the most tragic.
Vivi needs to be holding her hand out with like a tear coming down her eye.
Can I, if I can?
She turns into Pluton. Just starts sailing towards Raptor.
Pause for a second. So, somebody wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, if when you guys were talking about this whole entire situation with the Warlord system, when you look at it with who the people that Fujitora took with them, Cobra and Raikou. Raikou hasn't been a king for a long time because of Doflamingo, and Cobra is looked at by the world government higher ups, five elder stars, that he is a traitor. His family is a traitor. So I predict that when they go up there to like abolish the Warlord system, they will state that both of you don't have any technically power, as one of you is a traitor and one of you hasn't been king for enough time to actually have a merit.
Yeah, but Rico and the other guy, they're not going to be standing for the abolishment of warlords. It's Fujitora who wants to do it, and he has plans why.
No.
They will agree. They will agree.
Yeah, they will agree. That's clearly set up because there was a panel explaining that Fujitora had called both Cobra and Riku.
Well, something that I find
and plus they said there's a. Oh, someone's talking. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just gonna say.
Hopefully, I don't get kicked out quick. My bad.
What if Riku and what if Riku and Cobra just don't agree because there might be too much blowback from the Elder Stars, especially since Cobra might know the Elder Stars.
I like both Cobra and Riku. I think that they would stand for what's right and what's just ahead of any other thing that's going on. But anyway, let's move the conversation a little bit. We got another donation, this time from Silverqueese for $10, and he has this question: do you think Roger and his crew knows about Im-sama, since they know the true history? Also, could the disease Roger caught was given to him by Im-sama?
I don't think
the disease came before he went to lockdown, right? Or
guys, who thinks that Im-sama is one of the original 20 members?
I don't think that he knows who Im-sama is, because I don't even think that like the Celestial Dragons even know he exists.
Yeah,
they didn't know Roger had a straw hat, you know.
Yeah, I think Im-sama is probably the most hidden, powerful figure in the world, and I think that in order to meet him, you would either need to be a Gorosei, or you would need to, in some way, sneak around Mariejois. And that's not something that I really got the impression Roger ever did. That was like the one place that he never explored, I feel like.
Let's assume Roger has the same knowledge about the world government as Dragon, and I think Dragon knows about Im-sama.
Okay.
A lot of
what gives you that impression, though?
I don't know. I just have the impression that Dragon knows everything.
Oh, everything.
All I know is I think Dragon might have been a Marine.
What are the odds
actually know about Im-sama?
What are the odds that Im-sama is actually the national treasure?
Dude, this is too much, guys.
I don't think so.
Maybe
tapping out.
You can't spell Illuminati without Imu. Just saying.
Yeah, whatever.
I feel like they find out, like, what is the process to become a Gorosei? Or is it?
There's no process. We don't know.
We don't know about
Where do I sign up? Hello? I would like to submit an application.
Think about Mars right now.
Yeah, you can hand in the application, yeah.
All of the
Why you want to go apply to be a Gorsei?
4 out of the 5 Gorsei look really old, except for Sanji's uncle.
That swordsman.
That is Judge's brother
recent
confirmed.
edition, that's the thing. He may be the most recent edition.
Yeah.
It could be like Sabo's family.
We don't know how old Samurai Gandhi is either because he doesn't have any hair.
Because Sabo's a... whatchamacallit? I don't know. Never mind.
The only thing that we really know is that the Gorosei have been the Gorosei for a while. Since the last 20 years or so.
Yeah.
The same Gorosei.
What do you guys think is required to become a Gorosei now that we know for a fact that they are celestial dragons at least? Like, what do you think you have to go through?
I think you have to be born into the family that's already Gorosei to have that power.
Basically, they're the only celestial dragons that are in the front, you know? They're not the ones that are, you know, sitting down, taking slaves, eating ass, you know? They're the ones that are stepping up. I'm just saying.
So,
very blunt. Wait. Are you the real Joy Boy? Like, you're the one that makes the theories and stuff? Because you don't... I don't know.
There's a fake one.
I mean, everybody wants me to talk like this, like I talk in my theories, as though I'm just like this close to yelling, and it sounds like, you know, I'm kind of constipated. But no, like when I normally talk, I talk lower on my register normally.
Yes, this Joy Boy is in fact a imposter.
Say what?
But it's still definitely add you as a friend on here.
But it still plays out in all the videos, right? But you kind of still do it in the video, so it must have a reason.
Yeah, so I just want to go back to what I was saying before. One thing that I think was what light was shed on recently is that there might be direct descendants of the 20 kings and side families, because we know that Don Quixote I need to turn off my phone. We know that Don Quixote Doflamingo's family were basically kicked out of Mariejois, or they left and then they weren't allowed to return. And I think I and many other people just assumed that was the entire Don Quixote family, but that's clearly not the case because we just got to see Mosgard, which means that they're like cousins essentially. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Something like that. Well, I mean, after 800 years, of generation, I'm sure there's like maybe hundreds of people in one family.
Everyone there. So I would say that everyone there would have to be a descendant of the 20 kings, right?
Right, but not a direct descendant.
Not directly, no, but in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, remember Charlos?
Yeah. No.
Remember in that whatchamacallit, the auction, chapter, what was it, episode 387 or some shit? Charlos, the one that Luffy punched for Hachin.
Yeah.
Okay, so him. So remember he was like, "Oh, make her my 17th wife or some shit." I'm pretty sure he had, you know, plenty of babies with all his other 16 wives. So
there could also be full blood Gorosei.
Must be nice. I'm still single, you know. Come hit me up.
What are the odds? Whoever is his wife, he looks filthy. Like he looks absolutely disgusting.
What are the odds that the original the Gorosei original traders from the ancient king, from the Great Kingdom?
Nah.
That can be maybe, yeah.
All right,
like,
so
there has to be some reason.
So we got some more donations I want to cover. We got a $5 donation from Weekdays. Appreciate you, bro. That asks, has anyone thought about Shirahoshi being powerless on top of the red line due to the height of it? Yeah, this is something I've seen mentioned, and I agree.
Can't fly. Dude, there's some big sea kings. I'm pretty sure they can jump that high. And just,
we don't have perspective on the red line, but the red line is pretty ridiculous. Like
10,000 feet, bro.
And last time I checked, there were sea kings in the White Sea, so we're about to get rained. These sea kings raining from the sky. Be careful.
I mean,
that sounds really majestic, actually. Somebody needs to draw that as well.
You just see one fall on Sanji's uncle.
Well,
bro, it's not Sanji's uncle.
You guys think there's flying sea king fish? Because there's like flying fish. The flying sea king fish can help her.
Wait.
Thinking too much.
You never know. It's One Piece. Big world.
Yeah. True. Everything's possible.
So we got another donation from, again, that fly pigeon. Thanks so much, dude. For €5. He asked, Blackbeard looked to the moon crying as a kid. Speculation that I'm Sama Celestials come from the moon. Maybe they killed his parents, so he wants revenge. If you guys don't remember, I think this was drawn in SBS, but a lot of people ask Oda to draw various characters when they were younger, and when he drew Blackbeard, he was, I think, really poor looking, disheveled, dirty, and crying and looking up at the moon.
Yeah, and he had books. Didn't he have books around him or some shit?
Yeah, he had books as well. Yep.
He has some books around him.
Yeah, because they said that if he wasn't a pirate, he'd be a architect or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Or
pretty intelligent.
Yeah,
maybe he just wanted to go there.
Archaeologist.
Yeah,
archaeologist. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, I think I think that Blackbeard is actually like you can tell he's like kind of a good person, and I see like him and Luffy kind of understanding each other and kind of respecting each other. But of course, I think that respect fell when Ace died. But one of the things that I believe that, like, since that picture that Oda drew of Blackbeard shows that he probably had a very, very shitty childhood, but I wouldn't say he's out for revenge or anything, because I don't think it strikes me. He doesn't strike me as completely the one who wants revenge, you know?
What do you mean?
But
I mean, Blackbeard seems as though I guess my impression of him is he seems to be very ambitious and power hungry for a reason. Which sort of speaks towards some sort of ulterior motive, whether that be revenge or, somebody wronged him in the past or something.
Hey, Theory, can I say something about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know how, like, Luffy is, like, very, he's very influenced in his childhood, by Shanks and by Ace and Sabo, etc.
Yeah.
What if, Blackbeard could have been the same way? He could have been influenced by somebody. Perhaps
Roger, Whitebeard.
Maybe somebody evil though. We never thought about that though.
Well,
yeah,
it
but
could even be
on a serious note, Blackbeard is not evil. He's just he's an ideal pirate, and that's why that's his favorite character. Oda's favorite character in the whole One Piece series is Blackbeard, and Blackbeard is symbolized as a pirate. Like, Pirates of the Caribbean, deadly.
Yeah, he is.
He has no teeth, he has a beard, it just sounds just like it.
He likes pies, he doesn't like pies, etc.
Take the opposite, yeah.
But I wanted to change the note off Blackbeard.
Yeah, I think Blackbeard is an incredibly interesting character. I think he's well created. I guess when it just comes to Blackbeard, a lot of people assume that he has to be all the way black, I guess, evil, in order to sort of justify him as the final villain, as a lot of people saw him. But I mean, I think with the reveal of Ainsama, maybe we can discuss this right now, but I really don't feel like Blackbeard is the final boss of this villain. I think it's probably going to be more likely somebody related to the world government like Ainsama.
I think Blackbeard really is the final villain of the regular world. It's not going to be it's like the final villain of the Grand Line, basically.
Right. It's kind of like dual ideologies. You have the classical pirate versus Peace Main or whatever you want.
Do you think that Luffy and Blackbeard could ever be allies?
No.
No.
Why not? I mean, wouldn't becoming the king of the pirates?
They already made it where Blackbeard is going to be a villain in the future, or the final villain. They already made it.
Really quickly, with what we just got with regards to the Rocks pirates, right? We had this guy who was the captain of all these great pirates, and they were the shit, right? I wouldn't put it past Oda to do something similar to that with Luffy, and then him like just having all these other pirates like rallying behind him for a cause. I feel like that's what the Pirate King is really about, and I'm not averse to Blackbeard being one of those people.
I think that Luffy might not go with Blackbeard because he tried
to
kill Ace.
Probably about 20%.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think because of what happened to Ace, he probably cannot forgive Blackbeard for what he did. Even though Blackbeard's not a bad person.
You literally, Ace, when Blackbeard punched him in the face, he was like, "Oh shit, that almost broke my neck."
Guys, who thinks that Ainsama as the last villain would be really disappointing?
It would. It would actually.
Well, it doesn't have to be Ainsama, but it like someone more closely associated with him. Is what I was suggesting. Like it could even be like a creature, like I'm not trying to borrow from Naruto, but I'm gonna try and borrow from Naruto, like a creature created from some scheme, machination of cleansing the world of, you know, for balance.
What if there really isn't like exactly a last villain? There's just a lot of villains when One Piece is found, and Luffy doesn't find it first.
Could be
like a war or something.
Some people theorize that Blackbeard and Luffy will get to Wano at the same time.
Like, what if this would be insane, but what if Blackbeard finds the One Piece 5 minutes ago? And
yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, definitely.
And then
Oda set it up that the main enemy of pirates are the world government and the navy.
Right.
Yeah, but wait. At the same time, how could Blackbeard, who has no road poneglyph, reach Raftel? That's my question.
My personal theory is that he steals Robin after Robin has read the majority of the poneglyphs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but why would Robin want to give it the information to him though? That is the thing as well.
Maybe she won't have a choice.
She has no choice.
She probably won't know. I can see.
What's his name? Dog Viper. What is his name? He said that y'all need to watch her and be careful. And she was like, "Oh, I have strong."
Luffy and the Marine are gonna work together to fight Blackbeard.
But let's get on a serious note. Hopefully, I do not get kicked out of the live because I don't want to. But like I said. Elbaf, yeah, I wanted to change the subject to Elbaf with remember what's his name? Those two people that were fighting for 100 years. Forgot their names. Dorian and Boggy. Yeah. Remember how they were like, oh, when we fight, and the gods judges who wins. And now God Usopp, and how Usopp always wants to go to Elbaf and all this bullshit. I'm having a big feeling that after Luffy and all the crewmates disband, Usopp will go to Elbaf and become their god, basically. Because he's already God.
I mean, I think that's essentially guaranteed, right? I mean, he's already the god of the Tantata, right? And the Skypians as well. So
yeah.
Dude, put another notch on his back.
Very interesting. How Oda sets it up is
gonna die though.
His life becomes real.
Yeah, that's a more believable.
Does anybody think near the end of One Piece, for some reason, Shanks and Blackbeard fight, and Blackbeard kills Shanks, so Luffy has to kill Blackbeard?
That's exactly.
He already killed Ace.
I'm thinking that. That's my ending. That's what I'm thinking. Blackbeard kills Shanks. Luffy finds out. Shanks puts the hat on Shanks' grave, and Blackbeard's at the One Piece.
I actually think when it comes down to all of this,
too cliche, bro.
They're gonna start fighting, and something unrelated to them is gonna happen, which is gonna force them both to unite forces. As it's actually been shown with, especially Marineford calling back to Mihawk, he did say that Luffy's special power was bringing people to his cause, and bringing.
Maybe rocks are gonna awaken again.
That has nothing to do with D. That has nothing to do with D. That's just his personality.
That's just his, And when they're fighting for in the final battle between them, something else is gonna pop up that's gonna force them both to form an alliance to go and defeat it. Or if not, they themselves could have actually died if they.
Yeah, but that's like another 290 chapters away. We should think about the next 10.
Don't you mean the next 500?
Or perhaps Blackbeard at 1200. That's what I'm thinking. Either 1200 or 1250.
Another 20 years.
Nah, 6 years.
No, not another 20 years. 7 years.
6 to 7 years.
Do you guys...
I'm telling you, it's either 1200 or 1250. It'll be like 50 or something. He's 41 right now, right?
Yeah, that's. You do have to realize as well. He doesn't want to end it.
Dude, he already made a fortune.
I'm really worried about Wano, because if it doesn't live up to the hype, I think a big part of the community will drop off One Piece.
I'm just at this point in time, I am so pessimistic. Not because I think that Wano will be disappointing, but that people will think that regardless of how good it is, because of their various expectations.
Exactly, and I think a lot of people will drop One Piece because of that.
Can I say something? Can I change the subject for 1 second?
Well, really quickly, I just wanted to say that Wano discussions in general, they kind of depress me at times, because people talk about all this crazy stuff when we really don't know what's gonna happen.
Let's talk about the Reverie.
I'm just hoping they don't get their expectations up. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
one thing I've been really very keen on, and I know this is from my inner fanboy, and I want Carrot to join the crew so bad, but I feel like due to the fact that this is going to involve the Beast Pirate and Mink Tribe conflict, that's going to involve Carrot and maybe give her a recruitment arc. Like, almost every single Straw Hat member has had that intimate moment with Luffy that gets them to join. Chopper, Sanji, I think Robin you could count. I mean, almost every single one of them, and I think this one will be Carrot's because she has
they all had are dedicated to them. Brooke had his, Nami had hers. They all had theirs. This is going to be focused not just on Zoro, but it's going to be so much going on that you can't just focus on. It's not one person's arc that this is their recruitment arc where they're
after Jinbe there will be 10 people in the crew. So what else? I mean, we have 10 now.
Yeah, my personal theory about Carrot. I don't really want to get into whether or not she's Nakama or not because those discussions.
I think it's an alliance.
Pretty quickly, but anyway, as far as Carrot having sort of a more intimate moment with the Straw Hat crew, I'm not certain that Zunisha doesn't die and Zunisha doesn't travel to Wano herself. And because you have Momonosuke's power, right? I think Momonosuke can learn to control her, and I think that there's a lot going on, and that could lead to the destruction of the Mink's entire home by the conclusion of some arcs.
What if Imu will
maybe Zoe is gonna charge Wano?
I'm thinking Imu might be able to control Zoe because like the eyes.
The eye doesn't have that. It's so ambiguous at this point in time. Like Mihawk doesn't have that kind of power. The eyes are also drawn at other point in times that are really interesting. It's a kind of a dramatic flair to it. So I wouldn't take that too in depth yet until we get more information about what Im can do or not.
Also, I
saw the Goro Sage with their knees on the ground.
One thing I noticed that's really similar to Carrot is with Chopper is their father figures ended up, they're so similar. Her father figure and Chopper's. Like Hiruk and Pedro were like they were on limited time. They killed themselves by blowing themselves up for the sake of the greater good. They were damn good at their job, and I don't know if we could confirm this, but left their kids with their dream. I mean, Chopper of Hiruk, but I think Pedro with Chopper, Carrot, or if not, the dream of her whole people. But I'm getting a little biased here, but that's what I think.
At least you can acknowledge it.
On the subject.
Personally, on that note, I believe that basically what Pedro's sacrifice was a boost to make us think that Carrot will end up with the Straw Hats, because basically Pedro was saying all about that the Straw Hats will bring the new dawn to the world, and also Carrot has a dream. She wants to go on adventures on the seas. So all these facts are coming in together for her recruitment at the end of Wano, and also the final introduction of Jinbe as well into the crew, because we haven't seen all of them together with Jinbe.
I think Oda said the Straw Hats would join like spontaneously, like one after another. Yeah. So we already got Jinbe, and Jinbe is being put on hold for Carrot.
I just want to add my 2 cents into this, which is that yes, it does appear as though Carrot is seeming like she's going to join the crew, but we don't know exactly how the recruitment process works for the Straw Hat Grand Fleet either. A lot of people thought that Bartolomeo could have joined the Straw Hat crew, but he ended up being a highly developed member of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, somebody that was emphasized throughout the entire arc. Carrot could very well, as far as her dream of adventuring, could just start her own pirate crew similar to the Nox Pirates. So like carry on that tradition and join in that capacity. I think that's entirely possible. I'm not arguing for my opinion or perspective. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
I think that
might happen.
One of the reasons we said that about Barto is because we didn't know the existence. We didn't know the existence of the Grand Fleet, so there was no other option besides her joining if he was going to be important after this arc.
Well, I think she's not going to join because they used it as the Ninja Pirate whatever alliance, Minka alliance, and their objective is to defeat Kaido, but Carrot is on a different
Carrot's objective.
I mean, whether or not somebody joins the crew or not depends completely on whether or not Luffy asks them to join. If Luffy asks them, then they will join. If Luffy doesn't ask them, then they won't. It's just that's how it seems.
It could be like Nakaoshi and Arashi with Roger, like they were on the ship, but they weren't really part of the crew. They were just like representatives of Wano on there.
Have y'all compared how Roger asked Rayleigh and Luffy asked Zoro?
I don't think there's like a set thing for them to join. Like for Luffy to ask you to join the crew, I don't think there's like a set reason. I think if he likes you, you'll join the crew. And I feel like he might like Carrot at least enough to ask her to join.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
For Carrot is like by the whole 13 Straw Hats theory.
But yeah, I agree with that
Why would
point.
it be 13?
A big reason why Bartolomeo and Cavendish didn't join the crew is because Luffy didn't like them that much. Whereas Carrot is given a different shade in the story, I feel like.
She meshes really well.
Spend more time with them.
Yeah, she does. She meshes with Chopper really, really well. I think the
in fact, I think the
Go ahead, Sage.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Sage.
Let's go one at a time.
Yeah.
I wonder where Captain Morgan is.
I was gonna say that.
Okay.
Carrot has spent a lot more time versus like Bartolomeo and all them, simply because like she's been on that like voyage with them from Zoe to Whole Cake and now to Wano. So she has more of a chance than Bartolomeo, who's just like hanging with Luffy and fighting alongside him versus actually spending time.
I mean, but the same. I mean, something similar could happen with Vivi, right? And she didn't join, so I don't know. There's a lot of possibility. I don't want to get into common theories if I'm completely. We have a couple of donations, so let me go through these. I got a 420 donation from Cole Marshall. I appreciate you, bro. And then we got another donation down here from QRW6 for $5. He asks, has the appointed time of Noah come and who's fixing it? It's implied that Din, who is Tom's brother, is fixing the Noah, and the Noah's time has not come quite yet, I don't think. I think it's implied, right, that the time of the Noah will be when the fishmen need to leave Fishman Island, which is, we're not there yet.
Why can't they leave the Noah? Why can't they just swim up?
I'd say another month and a half. In One Piece time.
I feel like it's a symbolic thing, if I'm honest with you. Of course, like you could argue like the little kid fishmen, they go up and visit the islands. You even have the old ones as well. They could all potentially swim up. But I think there's a lot of symbolism in a Noah arc sort of ship from the bottom of the ocean carrying all the fishmen up. I think that's probably why Oda went in that direction.
Do you think Luffy will keep his promise to Shirioshi?
Wait. Maybe what happens if like bringing down the red line sort of drains part of the ocean or something like, or so basically there's no water somehow by Fishman Island. So like the arc was to save the animals and bring them onto the water. So that arc will be bringing them from the water onto the land.
Drain the water though.
Yeah.
Like Fishman Island is so far down.
That bubble is pretty big, to be honest.
Yeah, the world of One Piece is mostly ocean. To do that would be
drain the ocean. We need a villain that wants to drain the ocean
going into the
Hey, Joy Boy.
I'm listening.
You heard that theory where if you destroy Fishman Island, the ocean will go down and Rafter will go up, right?
If you destroy
Basically,
Fishman
it's
Island,
underwater, right?
How?
No, that's ridiculous.
People said that Rafter was underwater, because people. I don't know.
So are they like connected via a pulley system? So you destroy Fishman Island, and then just Raftel appears.
Yeah, pulley system. Who needs the poneglyphs? Just destroy this island.
That's the one.
That's a cool idea though, but I don't see it yet. But anything's possible. It is genius.
Yeah,
Fishman Island is like half water, like there. So the volume.
Yeah.
Of that
So just for clarification, Fishman Island sits in a bubble that is connected to the roots of the Eve tree. So the Eve tree is the same trees that are at the top of Sabaody, and they produce the little bubbles or whatever that they ride. And so the same thing, it produces a bubble at the bottom of the sea, which creates the air bubble where Fishman Island sort of sits. And the Eve tree also glows as well.
Y'all remember what Crocus said when Luffy was leaving the Twin Capes?
Rafter was the last island.
Remember, he was like, maybe these are the pirates we've been waiting for, right, Roger? What were they waiting for?
Roger was looking for some so this goes back to my thoughts of why did Roger tell everybody to go look for the One Piece. I think Roger was looking for someone to find the poneglyphs again, just like him, and carry on the poneglyphs will by doing so. And I think
what the dog said, what's his name on Zoe? He said that you're on a different journey than what Roger led to, right? Because Roger did 2 journeys. He went to Raftel, and then he had to go somewhere else. He went to the final island,
right,
and then he had to go do all the way again. He had to go all the way through the Grand Line again.
So this is kind of how my impression of Roger's journey. Roger became a pirate a long time before he became the Pirate King.
40 years, 45 years ago.
The impression that I get is he went across the Grand Line from the beginning to the end without finding Raftel many times. And over the course of these journeys, he traveled all the various paths. He found a lot of different poneglyphs. He met a lot of different people and learned a lot of different things. And it's also implied that the end island of the Grand Line, not named Raftel, in some way implies that you should be looking for the poneglyphs, or the poneglyphs are important or interesting in some way. That was implied in the dialogue by Inu Arashi. Where was I going with this? So then at some point in time, Roger decided, or like accumulated his knowledge about the poneglyphs in order to find Raftel. And that was so right now Luffy hasn't even made it to the final island yet to know the true importance or the journey. It's like that you should be searching for the poneglyphs. It's just sort of he happened upon Robin, and that is her dream.
Yeah.
So that's
the dog
difference.
said that you don't need to go there, and the dog said you don't need to go there because that's on a journey that you already passed.
Right, because they have Robin. Exactly. They're already finding the poneglyphs. Right. The last island, not named Raftel. Raftel is a hidden secret island. No one knows where it is. But there's an actual final island in the Grand Line, which once you reach that island, it's implied that the importance of the journeys for the poneglyphs will be revealed, essentially. But Luffy is already sort of looking for the poneglyphs. They're looking for the road poneglyphs, so, which is why it's not necessary, quote, to find that island. That's what he was. That's what he.
So
meant.
the log poses
Do you? I have a theory
about the Raftel location. Do you have some theories on that?
At the end of the Grand Line, I think the best theory ever created was that it's inside Reverse Mountain.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah.
I think it's underwater because it was.
I was thinking. I was thinking about the.
Yeah, you saw the anime, right?
So it is said that the Raftel is placed in the crossing lines of 4 poneglyphs. You know,
of 4 different locations when you cross.
Yeah. And it is strange because if that would have been true, like Big Mom's crew and other pirates could have like, if the island was on the surface of the sea, it could have been found like very easily, but they didn't in like 20 years. So my theory is like it's not only the crossing of the lines, but somehow the time, and basically it's a specific coordinate at a specific time. So you have to go up. You know, it's like a satellite. It's like an Earth satellite, like a moon. So it has been confirmed that space in One Piece it's a thing, and it could be like a real out of space island. You know.
Well, I mean, you have invisible bridges, right? Maybe it goes all the way to the moon. Not sure.
Okay.
So we got.
Were there people speculating space wasn't real?
Well, anybody who doesn't think that space is somehow important to the One Piece world are in denial. But whether or not we visit space ever in the story is a question. One Piece in space.
Get the Space Force ready, lads.
I want to cover a few. I want to cover a few more of these donations, and I also want to wrap up the stream here pretty soon. So from this point forward, any donations that we don't have right now, I might not read. So keep that in mind if you guys decide to donate. But this first donation is from Oxtail Flipper for $5. He says, during an Ace flashback with Oars Jr., he mentions that he learned to make straw hats in Wano. Do you think there's more to Wano than just the Yonko battle? I think that there's going to be a lot to Wano.
Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot.
To make straw hats
I feel like we're going to be in Wano for a long time.
For all we know, Goldie Rogers there.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite theories for Wano are the miracle cure, the panacea that Chopper wants to find involving Sakura. I think that might be a thing in Wano. Also, there's going to be a lot of history in Wano with the Whitebeard pirates, I think, when you're talking about Ace and Oars Jr. A lot of history between Whitebeard and Odin, I think. But yeah, it's going to be. There's so much to talk about in that one thing that it's difficult. I think Wano is going to be the biggest arc in the entirety of Wano, or in the entirety of One Piece is not going to be close. We have another donation here from. Scrolled over it. Hold on. Got another donation from Doc Diablo for $2. He says, "I'm Sama has the same eyes as Nami when they're mad." I think that's just a thing. I also saw this with Chopper as well. Someone pointed this out to me on Twitter. Where Chopper freaks out, his eyes also get sort of double layered. I think I associate the eyes differently, right? So like
Oda recently draws the type of eyes like when they're scared.
Same with the Corona.
I've seen Nami a few times with this type of eyes. It's like a thing like Oda draws.
Yeah,
it's not a
Renegon eye.
I think there's significance to being calm and having these sort of eyes. Like the only characters that normally have these kinds of eyes, like even Big Mom, right, has the sort of those eyes when she goes in crazy mode. The only two people that we know of who are calm and like this is like their normal state of their eyes is Mihawk and I'm Sama, which is why it's easy to associate the two together at this time.
Also, didn't
I think it's something to do with
Cavendish have these eyes whenever he went to Hakuba? I could remember eyes similar to this.
Yeah, Cavendish had crazy eyes.
Crazy mode.
But you'll notice something similar to everybody else aside from Mihawk and I'm Sama, which is that they're in some sort of deranged state of mind, like whether they be angry or they have hunger pangs or
right.
Yeah, I think it's
See, because
really quick, I wanted to ask about Blackbeard. Does anybody else think Blackbeard may be from Ohara and has been reading poneglyphs the whole time?
No, that's a fat no. Really quickly, I want to go back to the other thing with the eyes. In the past, I used to think that those eyes that Mihawk had were specific to swordsmen and their relationship with the blade or whatever, whether or not their blade was cursed, if the curse.
Oh, thank God I'm back in.
Like that. But I mean, now like we see I'm Sama. Is this person like a swordsman, or like why did they have the eye? You know, it's just.
Well, there were swords. There was a sword that was cut through the bounties.
Well, that was a knife.
Has those eyes.
That was a knife.
Because
that was definitely a sword.
It was a sword.
Yeah,
yes. Did you even look at the panel? It was fucking like
There might be different types of eyes, like hawk eyes, owl eyes.
I think Oda just wanted to draw
Zoro's eye.
He only used them one time.
I'm not gonna say that it's just Oda wanting to use it. I think there is significance to them. We just haven't really figured out.
My opinion, like as crazy as this sounds, this is just where my mind is right now. I think I'm Sama is an alien. I think that he's from one of the moons. That he's literally different from everyone else, and the eyes will indicate that. And I think that Mihawk might be related to him in some way as like a member of that same sort of lineage. But may not be aware.
I was definitely gonna ask.
How many people have those eyes? Do you think that fucking Imu-sama has the same eyes as Mihawk, or the same eyes as fucking? I can't fucking remember that huge elephant. Zanisha, I think that was his name.
Yeah.
Zanisha had blue eyes.
Yeah.
Well, how many people have those eyes though? That's the question. Like, how many people?
I'm Sama, giant elephant confirmed.
Guys, going back to what Jordan said. Do y'all think that, like, because I know that there's this theory that, like, the celestial dragons are, like, aliens that came down, too, which is why they wear, like, those little bubbles on their head, because they can't really breathe, like, air, or do they just, like, not want to breathe human air?
They choose not to breathe human air because they're, holy or whatever, kill themselves.
It very well could be that they wear that out of, like, respect, out of tribute, because they worship this god that is the D's are against, because the D's are the enemy of God. If M-Sama is actually this god from another planet, they may wear those spaceships.
Gods as in all celestial dragons, not just him.
I have a question for you all.
I think there's a distinction that needs to be made between the celestial dragons and this Imu-sama character and their relationship with God. You know what I mean? We saw that CP0 was telling the other people to refer to the celestial dragons as God, like to treat them as God. But then you see the way that the Gorosei are bowing down to this Imu-sama character, and it's like this person feels like the real God. So it makes me think that these celestial dragons are just like a prop. You know what I mean?
You know how much they hyped up the Gorosei, bro? You know how much they hyped them up, dude? And like now they're on their knees to this character. Like,
yeah, man, I was thinking like they were gonna like spank
These last 3 chapters are so much mindfuck. Like,
oh my God, 5 men on their knees in front of one dude. That's like crazy.
One chapter, I'm getting along with Game of Thrones, and then like they just throw me with, oh, he's gonna sit on that chair. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, man, I was like, why?
Empty Throne was badass, but now he's gonna put a fucking person on there. Like, oh my heavens,
The
Lord,
funny
help
thing
me.
is, I thought that chair was only ever going to serve the purpose of a joke with Stelly like sitting on it, but it actually has like this significance with this character sitting on it now.
Yeah.
If I can interrupt you guys real quick,
go ahead.
I have two points to say. First of all, I think the reason why they wear the bubbles in their head is more of them actually thinking that normal, like the people who live under them, is like garbage, and they think that their air is garbage as well. And
That's what that celestial dragon did when he went to Fishman Island. He was like, "Go get me a
What
bubble."
if it's a lot more simple though? What if it's literally to do with the fact that they're used to a different oxygen environment? They're on top of the red line.
No.
It's actually stated
the red line.
Normal humans.
no, but it hasn't been shown that they can breathe normal air.
Yeah, they're
Of course they can, but like
one at a time.
I really hate Carlos. I hate him so much.
Everyone.
Wait,
Who does?
Yeah, speak your mind, man. Let it out.
I hate bro, like what is like he ran up on somebody and he was like, "Let me get your wife." Like, what does that even mean? Like, how does he do that? Like, my man's is really ugly. Like if I saw someone like him in real life, I just have to like roast him. It'd be too funny. Like don't. Someone move on. I'm
sure it kind of sucks to be in the world.
Wouldn't that be kind of?
Wait, I have a question.
Uh-oh. Yeah, all right, well, this is gonna be the last question before we end the stream. Go for it.
Okay, so
I got one more too.
With all this, okay, you saying Im-sama somehow like related to Hawkeye just because of the eyes. Like, have you discussed this like before or whatever about the whole like Shanks could be evil thing, where like
Shanks is not evil.
That sounds like such a clickbait title. Evil Shanks.
Yeah.
Evil.
He's been planning this like the whole time. Like he even though Luffy accidentally quote unquote ate the devil fruit, he actually wanted Luffy to eat the devil fruit. He just made.
Are you trying to say he's Itachi or
that would make more sense to why like Hawkeye and
that could be possible actually.
Eyes like Hawkeye and Im-sama would have the same.
No, just
eyes.
think about it. Think about it. The world government always like listens to Shanks, and that could be it. That
yeah, because he's trustworthy.
Like
I want to
or he's like their side.
What has he done to gain this trust, though?
Well, we don't know, but we might know in the future what he's done to the world government.
What if Hawkeye is
Can I
the
please add
political
something
figure?
about Shanks?
Yeah, did we rule out the Shanks is evil theory completely already?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I don't know if I ruled it out, but I refuse to believe it.
Wait, well,
I think the fact
wait, guys, one at a time. First one at a time, and then let me ask this one quote, JB's, Joyboy. Do you think? Do you really would it past Oh my God, would you really put it past Oda? That's the question.
Would I put? I don't put at this point in time. I don't put anything past Oda. Like the last several chapters have reminded me who's boss, who's the daddy in this.
Hey man, we all agree that there is the possibility that Shanks is just luring in these to the Grand Line because he's not snapping.
That's like a slaughterhouse.
I don't think Shanks.
I don't even agree that's a possibility.
Less than 1%.
Are you telling me Shanks is grooming these D's? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Oh my.
All right. On that note, I appreciate. I appreciate everybody who stopped through the stream. There's some that were joined earlier that are no longer here. I appreciate all you guys. I think that this was a productive stream, really productive conversation. I want to thank everybody in the chat for stopping by and for watching. And hopefully we can do this again sometime soon. But yeah, with that being said, have a wonderful day, everybody.
Hey, Joe.